The other people.
We won't get into all these as time's running down, but I did want to say this to the listener or audience as well. I did receive an email today about the status of the radio portion of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working on letting us go back when it's safe. However, I will be the only one allowed in studio. Only the main host will be allowed in studio.
So you better figure out the phones.
Yes.
Or
the phones.
something.
Zoom.
Yes.
So my thought on
Good,
that
because
is
you've been needing to figure this out for 20 years and you never have.
Never. So what I'm hoping we can do is set up the Zoom portion, and then we can have people Zoom the entire show.
That'd be cool.
That's what the hope is. But as of now, we don't have an exact date to start back on the radio portion of the show.
Hey, I like that. I like that because, it stinks not being in the same room, but I wouldn't be able to be in the same room anyway.
Yeah.
But it just opens up the options for more people to come visit the show.
Yeah.
You'll have to set up the technology to do it, and then we can have more people on the show. I'm cool with that.
Well, see, the only thing not the only thing, but, the pandemic's been bad for so many people, but there has been a few positives as far as the show goes, as we've said, because this technology now we wouldn't have really dove into had this not happened. And it's going to be going back to the roots of the radio show. Obviously, I'll have you and some other co-hosts, but being in the studio alone again, even with people on the screen, is going to be a different vibe.
Well,
so
looking at you.
Yeah. So I'll have to put the sunglasses back on so I don't get embarrassed.
Yeah, put that leather jacket on too. You still have that thing?
I have a variation of it. I don't have that exact one.
Dang.
I do have a red, like a burgundy, like a burgundy one now. It's almost exactly. It's actually real. I think it's real leather though. This one though.
Oh. Okay.
So it's not the pleather.
I was thinking back then, you never wore hats back then, did you?
No.
The first time I ever saw you wear a hat was the show that I hosted that we didn't know if you were going to be there or not because you were sick as a dog.
I've got food poisoning.
Yeah, you came in there looking like Tom Hanks from Philadelphia.
And I had a Washington Nationals hat.
You look terrible.
I remember laying there. I'd fallen asleep with Talith. I was like chilling, and I'd fallen asleep, and just beside Talith, and Talith woke, and I had the alarm set for the show because I was going into the radio studio after the show as well, and because I'd taken some of the time off because of Kelly, and Talith was like, do you still want to do the show? And I said, yeah. Because I can't remember now, but I didn't know. You knew how to. Was that the first time you'd done the board?
Yeah, I'd had like a brief tutorial.
And I think that's one of the reasons, because I was like, I don't know if Jake knows how to run the board, and that was when. Because originally when I went there, I don't think you were going to run it. I think we ended up switching spots.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rough. You were rough, and that's when I did the up late with Jake for a while.
Yeah. You did that, and then I talked to my brother, my mean brother.
Yeah.
Brother, and he's going to come back on the show.
Oh, really? What was your brother's name?
His name is.
Don't tell the cast.
Yeah, I don't want to.
We'll make that surprise.
Yeah, we'll make that announcement later. I think it's Chad.
Chad. He would be a Chad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Chad. But yeah, I've not seen him in a while. He's been MIA.
I would forget him too.
Yeah, he was
nothing good there.
So
so speaking of food poisoning, I was thinking of my worst food poisoning experience. I was in Detroit. I'd flown into Detroit. This is back when I wasn't living there. I was just flying in on the weekends, and we had gone to this really good pizza place. Alex was like, you got to eat this pizza place. And I got sick. I don't know what I got sick on, but it wasn't the pizza because I got sick before we even ate the pizza.
Yeah.
But then I ate one slice. I went back to the apartment, and I got sick as a dog, and I was just losing pizza from both sides. And the bad part was the next day I had to fly out. And you know, when you get like sick like that, you can start to feel stable. You don't feel
Yeah.
better, but you feel stable. And then all of a sudden here it comes back again, and you're like, oh boy, I haven't gotten it out of my system yet. And that whole day, I think I flew out at maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock that afternoon. But that whole morning, I just sat there and was like, is it going to come back? Is it not? I was like, don't eat anything, don't drink anything, don't do anything, because you cannot get on that airplane
Right.
and get sick, because that's the worst. Like, that's my nightmare.
I've never been sick on a plane, but I can imagine.
Oh, it would have been so bad. Oh, so bad.
Terrible. So, yeah, I know what you mean.